this is Peggy for cropstop.com, and I have got the neatest little tool to show you tonight. Look at these dainty little flowers. Are those too stinking cute? Those are made with floss. Now let me show you what else I'm going to show you here. Let me see here. Oh, and this card, I did this little scalp part right here on the bottom of my little card. Now you're wondering, how on earth did she do that? This super cute little tool. It's called SewEasy. And that's because it is so easy. It's by WRMK Keepers. And wait till you see all the cool things you can do. Here are some of the different heads attachments that I have that I'm going to share with you tonight. And I've got the floss to show you and a neat way to store it. And oh, I just have so much stuff here. Let me clear it off and let's get started. Okay, this is our little stitch piercing handle, and what's really nice about it, it has a little opening in the end right there, and that's where you can store your needles. It comes with one needle, and it comes with this first little attachment head, which is your straight stitch. I'm going to show you different ways you can move that around and change the head, but I thought it was really nifty that they made a place to keep these, because I don't know about you, but I'm all the time laying needles down when I sew, and I can't find them. Steve usually finds them in his feet. Anyway, so that's going to be in there. And then, I'll leave this over here to the side so I don't lose it. Some of the different heads I have, and what I've done to help myself remember, I went ahead and I've sewn some of these on pieces of paper. And this is going to go in my file so that I can remember what I have. So the running stitch is the one up here at the top. That's the little attachment head that you get with it. Then there's one called a banner. Let's see if I can find it. That's this one right here. And we have the pennants, and I just got that one the other day. There's the pennants. So it's right there on there, so you'll be able to find them. This is a neat one called the scallop. And then we have the blanket stitch. And you have, this is the smocking. And this yellowy orange color one is this, it's the daisy one that I did on here, on this card. Okay? And then back here in the background, of course, I used one of my Crafts to You embossing folders, the little daisy one. So, I've made this little chart, so I'll have that and I can keep that handy. But let me show you how easy it is to change the head on this. All you're going to do is twist it, whichever way, it depends on which way you hold it. It comes out, and your next one goes in, and there's a little place you line it up in there. I always have to fiddle it around, and there you go. How easy was that? That's why I guess they called it so easy. So let me just do this. I'm going to take that one out of there, and I'm going to put back in the one that comes with it. And you also are going to want to get yourself one of these mats. It's a piercing mat. Now, I've had a couple folks ask me, well, can I just use the mat that I do my mouse on? You can, but this is more of a, an airy type foam, so that my piercers will go through there and give me a nice piercing. So you can try it, but I would recommend this little piercing mat. It makes it a lot easier, and it has lines. Now, that's how I line things up on these little lines it gives you. I start with this line. What's nice about this one, I can go straight. Hopefully I'll go straight, like so. Or if I want to get real rambunctious, I can do curves. And I can do all kinds of things. On the example, I just did lines like so. So there's all different kind of ways you can do this. You can do a circle. I don't know how good I am at circles, but you could do a circle. You know what? Let's just try and see if I can do it. I think I'll turn my mat. Well, I probably would have been a halfway decent circle if I hadn't run out of paper. But you get the idea. You can go a lot of places with these. You don't have to just go in a straight line. So once you do your piercing, you're going to take your needle and you're going to thread it. So I'll do that real quick. Hopefully, she says. The really neat thing is that there are, I think right now, 18 different cards of floss that you can get. And I did get that threaded. Now, here's what I did. And I'm sure there's other ways to store it. But this is how they come on these cards. They're really nice, heavy cards. So I'm not going to rewrap mine on the other kind of floss things that you can get. I'm going to keep them like that. And all I had handy was this big safety pin thing. So I put my 3 on there for right now. I think eventually I'll do like I did here on the little cards. And I got a big ring. Here's a tip for you that is helpful for me. When you get your individual little heads, it's got what they're called on them on the front. So this one's like for the scallop. And on the back are your directions to tell you how to go about sewing it. Now, I would recommend that you save this because you're not going to use this every day of the week or even every week of the month. It may be a couple months and then you're going to say, now how the heck did I do that? But look at this. It tells me I'm going to go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just tells me how to do it. So I recommend highly you save these. I mean, you already paid for them. You might as well use them as your little files. So that's my little tip for the day on there. Now, let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to go ahead and do the straight one. Now, what I did is I usually come in right at the end and try and get away from it a little bit. All I'm going to do is stick it through there. Now, here's what Peggy does. It doesn't say to do this, but I do it because every time I get started, I end up pulling the thread all the way through. And I do that not just with this, in anything I'm sewing if it doesn't have a knot. And I don't want to put a knot in the back because then it's going to be a bulge in my card that's not going to look good. So I take a little piece of tape, tape my end. That way I know it's not coming out. Well, let me sew this real quick and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so you get the idea. Now what I did here was I did every hole, and I did kind of like a back stitch. You can look on the back and see that it's touching all the way across. So what I would do is come up, go back, and then go back again to pick it up here. And it tells you that. The other really interesting thing you can do is you can stitch like this, and if you really got really rambunctious, you could put a little brad in between each one of these little stitches, tiny little buttons, or just leave it blank and have just a broken stitch like that. I'm just going to leave it tied on there, but look at how cool this is if I'm going to do the one that I just kind of randomly threw. See what that's going to look like. So see, even if I go at an angle, I can still get a really nice line there. Isn't that just too stinking cool? Now let me bring my card back in and show you. Again, this one is going to be a little harder to see because I picked the wrong color of floss actually. But it was really interesting because the cardstock, when I pulled it out, the printed paper, it had little blocks and it almost went in between, but it didn't. But it just finished off because when I do a card, I like to have a place where it finishes, and I didn't want to put a piece of ribbon. I use lots of ribbon because, you know, Crop Stop has the most awesome ribbon. But I wanted to do something a little different. So maybe on camera you can't see that little line there that kind of ends my card, but in real life it really does add a lot of accent to it. And the same with the card with the flowers. Now, I'm going to be honest with you because you know I always am. I really struggled getting these flowers to look exactly alike because of the tension that you're going to pull. But here's the thing. If you look at flowers, they're all a wee bit different. You know, I make up my own reasons for things. That way it sounds good. And so even though my flowers aren't exactly the same, they're flowers. This is art, and I call it a card. So that's about all I can show you tonight. And don't forget to stop over at cropstop.com and get yourself a SewEasy because it's so easy. All right, bye.